Hello everybody, and welcome to the Animorphs YouTube channel. I'm here to talk to you about potential Animorphs merchandise. The top 10 Animorphs merchandise that I would like to see as we approach the upcoming Animorphs movie. One of the things that really propelled Star Wars, so far as I've been told, was merchandise. Targeted merchandise. Merchandise really maketh the film. And that's something that Animorphs failed at. Let's be honest. The old Animorphs merch came in the form of cheap fast food toys, really horrible, ugly Transformer lines, and whatever the hell this monstrosity was. Ugh, get away. Even the TV series was a colossal letdown. Let's be honest, Animorphs, apart from the books, never really had anything going for it. Nothing. The closest we got was the Transformer toys. And let's face it, they're ugly as sin. And I'm 28 years old and I can't bloody figure out how these things work. What the Animorphs series needs is good merchandise. Hopefully that can be pulled off, and that would be a good way to get the movie in good shape. Because merchandise, probably you're doing with releasing just before the movie releases and then subsequent to the movie's release. And I know we're quite a long way off from the movie release, we're hardly even started, but I'm so bloody excited. So excited that I'm trashing my room. I'm so excited that I can't help but talk about merchandise already. This is just going to be talking in general terms. I'm not really going to go into specifics. But these are the top 10 sorts of merchandise that I'd like to see come out of this film. Let's get started. Number 1, pretty obvious. Action figures / models. Basically, these things. More of them. Except not in the Transformers line. I'm thinking like... I mean, these are the only sorts of toys I really have. So, I haven't really got any other good representations, but I'm thinking like Action Man, or I think in America they're like G.I. Joe. So you get pretty sizable figures of characters like the main Animorphs, maybe Elfang or Visser 3, maybe like a giant Taxon. A model which you can just sort of manipulate its body and, you know, do all the action figure sort of things. Not only for younger generations to play with, but for nerds like me to put on their shelves and look at and think, I've just wasted my money. Us sorts are very good at that, buying something and then instantly regretting it. But we enjoy the fact that we've bought it anyway. So yeah, decent quality action figures and models. I would love to have like big detailed models of like Hawk, Vegeta and Andalites just to sit on my shelves here to replace these awkward fucks. That's number 1. Right, number 2. Somebody mentioned this on the Discord. Yes, we do have an active Discord and you should go find it. And it's linked in the description and you should come talk to us on it. Nerf Guns. I would have an example here, but I don't. In fact, give me a sec. Right, I'm back. Something like this. Except obviously a bit more aesthetically pleasing. Shapes like a shredder and a Dracon or Dracon beam. Or maybe another sort of weapon. Something fun to put on your wall or just, you know, shoot things out of. Nice. I'm actually trained with a rifle, you know, but it's been a while and I'd probably forget entirely how to do anything with it. But, you know, that'd be nice. Get a Dracon beam, just pretend you're, I don't know, a human controller for a day. Number 3, wall art. You can probably just see up there, not all of it. If you want to see all of it, go to the collection tour video that I just did. There's a bit of wall art up there with an Andalite putting ice cream into his own face. I like wall art. I'm a homeowner. One of the things that I like to do as a homeowner is put random things on the wall, which I want to do. So the more Animorphs wall art that gets made, the better in my opinion. Simple as that, really. I want a big fucking acrylic fucking Hortbajir staring back at me every morning. Maybe not. So that's pretty simple. Number 4. Now, they tried this back in 2011. Book reissues. Now, of course, they didn't go too well back in the day when they released these ones. They only got to book 8, I believe, before it got cancelled, which is a real shame. But with this resurgence in Animorphs, maybe it is time to finally put out the series again. Around the same time this movie comes out, because people will see the movie and they'll be like, oh, I remember that book series, where can I buy it? Nowhere. Unless you go to eBay. I imagine there may be a reissue. If there's a movie coming out, you'd think that the book series it would be based on would be printed, because they're not currently printed. But I'm thinking that instead of just releasing each of the books, we do like massive compilation books. I mean, the font in these books is already quite large, so cram the font down, increase the book several times, you could probably fit 10 books into a single one. And then you'd only have to do like 6. Release the books with some nice funky new art. Not really fucking, you know what I mean. Number 5. Yes, it's Game of Thrones, but I'm not talking about Game of Thrones. By the way, Game of Thrones went a bit downhill, didn't it? Right. This is basically, it's almost like, it's non-fiction. Of course, Game of Thrones is fictional, but it's non-fiction about fiction. So it's a guide to Westeros, talking all about the different places and the different houses and the histories of them, how they interact with each other. Let's have one of these for Animorphs. Why the hell not? Animorphs is a massive, massive universe. And it's about Ruddy time. We got a book telling us about it in a non-fiction sort of way. I want to learn about the history of the Skritnar and which sector of the universe they dwell in and which sectors they don't dwell in. I want to know where the Kelbrids are, because there's this supposed border that the Andalites came up with but don't have any recollection of how they came up with it. What? So yeah, guidebooks, whether it be general Animorphs or we could have like individual books for different alien races. Excited for that, assuming that ever happens. What's next? Decorative ornaments, i.e. morphing cube posing characters' ships. I've put pretty obvious. I mean, I've got like Winston from Overwatch here. It's just a simple little cartoony model. It looks good on my shelf. Let's get something similar for Animorphs. I'm not, obviously before I talked about like the action figures, but I consider that different to models. Action figures, you can sort of position them and you know, all that sort of stuff. But I'm talking about, when I say decorative ornaments, I'm talking maybe like a glass sculpture, like this. Hold on. Like a glass version of this. That sort of thing. Or, I mean, I know it's Donald Trump, but just ignore that for now. A bobblehead. Imagine a little bobblehead axe. There, Trump. You go back up there. I think ships would be a good one as well. My brother, he gets these box sets for old British naval ships, and he paints the little bits and sticks them all together and comes up with a nice, lovely, detailed model. Let's have one of them for the dome ship. Let's have one of these as a builder model. Let's just make our houses look brilliant. We're Animorphs fans. Most of us are in our bloody late 20s or 30s by this point. Most of us should be homeowners by now. Let's decorate our houses filled with Animorphs things. Number 7, plush toys. By this point, I'm sort of running dry of my things, but I imagine they would sell well. The only similar example I got is this puppet thing up here, which I used to use on my other channel. Say hi, Polly. Plush toys are for the younger generations. And they sell quite well. And they look pretty cutesy. And my fiance will probably love them. I want to get her some birthday presents. So come on. Plush toys, please. Number 8. Clothing lines. Hats. Socks. Shirts. Underwear. Obvious stuff. But it's something that people wear and walk around the street in, and people see it and say, oh, I remember that. This is, I don't think it's in print anymore. I forget where I even got this shirt, but I enjoy wearing it because it's Animorphs. Why not? Number 9. This is where we're getting interesting now. Monopoly Animorphs. This is obviously Simpsons Monopoly, but can you imagine an Animorphs Monopoly board? They've practically done it for every other bloody series. I mean, the Yerk pool would be like Trafalgar Square, or fucking, I don't know. The gardens would be Pentonville. Dome Ship would be quite up there in the dark blue colours, or purple, whatever board you had. What would be at the bottom? What would be the cheapest? It'd probably be Chapman's house would be the cheapest property, or Axe's Scoop, or Tobias's Perch. But not only do you have Monopoly, but by the way, some of you remember we used to have an online version of this, but the site which hosted it got banned. But what if we were to get it for real? Animorphs Against Humanity, the official box set. Come on, bring it to me. I want it. And lastly, number 10, decent games, please. We're into, what, the 5th generation of games? I'm no gamer. But it would be nice to have a decent quality Animorphs game. And one that I can actually still play on my computer, because the PC game, I've tried playing on my computer, I can barely get it to start up. So, decent quality games. And I'm not talking about just your typical bloody first-person shooter sort of stuff. Let's get adventurous. I suggested Animorphs Racing, because you remember back in like the early 2000s, every single movie and TV series had to have a PlayStation 1 Racing game. Muppets, Toy Story, frickin' Crash Bandicoot, obviously Mario Kart. Let's have an Animorphs Racing game. I don't know how it would work. Anyway, that's my top 10 I want this list. Now, I'm a reasonable man, so I expect 8. 10 is optional. Those of you who make the things. Write down below what you'd like to see as Animorphs merchandise to really back up this movie and to give it the push it needs to make it a big success. This has been the Animorphs YouTube channel. Remember to check out my fan fiction. Remember to go to the Discord. We have an active community. And remember to check out my Twitter. Everything's linked in the description. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.